Okay, we'll call the regular meeting of council to order at 3 p.m. And I'll ask for the adoption of the agenda. So there is one amendment with the item 6.2, Bylaw 4586-2020, Offsite Levies Municipal Government Board Appeal to be added. So I'll ask for a motion from Councillor Moore that council adopt the agenda for the regular meeting of council March 22nd as amended.
Thank you. I will make that motion.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. I'll ask for a motion from Councillor Cooey that the following are adopted by omnibus motion in accordance with council's procedure bylaw, the strategic priorities chart, and the regular council meeting minutes from March 8th, 2021.
I will give you that motion, Mayor Snodgrass.
Thank you. All in favor? Oh, sorry, Carol.
Thank you, Mayor Snodgrass. I did have a question about the strategic priorities chart. A resident reached out to me about the progress of the website launch.
Chris?
Certainly, we're in the last kind of stages of it. We're getting the final staging site up and running. That we'll be able to demo the site and circulate that to hopefully to some members of council and staff to test it all out. They had a project manager changeover within the consultant that caused some concerns, and we've moved past that, as well as our content has been taking a lot longer for us to put together, which was our requirement under the contract. So we're slowly proceeding. Progress has been slow, but we are still moving in that right direction. We hope to have it launched for late April, early May.
Thanks, Chris.
Yep. Motion on the floor, all in favor? Carried. No public comments. Kara?
No, there are no public comments.
Thank you. Delegation with the United Way. Is Shelley speaking to this?
We've got Glenda here and she's just joining us.
Oh, there's Glenda. Sorry.
Hi.
I see you now, Glenda.
Hi, how are you, Your Worship?
Very good.
Good. Are you ready for me?
I am. Yep. You go right ahead.
Okay. So, Your Honor, Mayor Snodgrass, Council and guests, thank you for reviewing our 2021 United Way High River Partnership Community Grant and meeting with us today. It is just nice to talk about something other than AstraZeneca, Pfizer, and Moderna, and to speak of the important issues present in our everyday lives in our community. The funding schedule before you was not an easy decision. Our United Way Committee has never before been presented with such daunting tasks of dividing funds with fewer dollars in the pot and our needs increasing exponentially. Our funding allotment was decreased from our annual amount, compounded by the sheer fact that our committee was unable to do any fundraising due to COVID-19. However, our committee is pleased to present today the final and very tough decisions. We allocated $8,000 towards the Boys and Girls Club of Foothills. Their youth program is designed to assist all youth in High River, specifically to assist economically disadvantaged youth, as there are no fees to join their social and recreational programs. Then $7,500 to Inclusion Foothills, where they provide family-centered support and advocacy. They believe with the help of family-centered supports, they can see their dream to reality. Arbella and volunteers and staff tirelessly provide this service. And we allocated $12,000 full funding for Food for Thought. It is a lunch program available, as you're all aware, to all elementary, middle school, and high schools. They have provided thousands of lunches to all school-age children in need of a hearty, nutritious lunch. For some, it might be their only meal of the day. Sylvie and her team do a great job providing food for our most vulnerable citizens. Then we allocated full funding for Wild Rose Connections. High River Food Rescue is one of the many successful initiatives created through the Wild Rose Food Connections. Sarah and Brianne, since its inception in October 2018, have rescued, and if you can believe this, it's just amazing, 147,861 pounds. That was as of like the end of February, of food that would have otherwise been thrown out and gone to the landfill. Amazing initiative. Then $12,000 was allotted to No Student Goes Hungry program. This is for the students who may go hungry during the holidays, especially summer holidays, Easter break, Christmas, spring break, whatever. Shelley Cood, our amazing director, oversees this program and works closely with the schools and other agencies. In total, $47,500 was allocated by the committee and decided to invest into our children's agencies and community at large for 2021. Just so you have a comparison, last year we granted $70,000, so there's quite a difference in the money we had available to us this year. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Shelley Cood and her capable, dedicated team for her gentle guidance, who really does make a difference to ordinary citizens every day. Her commitment to High River is admirable and very much appreciated. To the wonderful committed United Way Committee, thank you. Maybe and hopefully, with our fingers crossed, we will again be able to curl, golf, and play hockey while fundraising for the High River United Way Partnership. Finally, I want to thank Mayor and Council and staff of the town of High River for their continued support of United Way. Just to recap, for the 2021, we kept to our focus, our committee focused on back to the basics with food security and mental health. Many thanks, Your Worship. So that's,
and not an easy task with limited funds and a lot of worthwhile programs to go through to try to funnel
no,
that money
and
to-
we usually raise at least $10,000 ourselves, the committee, and we just weren't able to do that last year. So that really hindered us as well.
Well, very well done by the committee to get this funneled through to these guys. So questions from Councillor Masterman?
Thanks, Mayor Snodgrass. I don't really have a question, just two very quick comments. And Glenda, I just wanted to thank you and your committee for and everybody involved in these recommendations for all your good work. And I really take encouragement from the motion actually, refers to these as investment recommendations, and I just couldn't agree more. These are recommendations into the investment of the future of High River and primarily young people of High River, and so that it really is an investment. And then later it calls them grants, which I suppose they are, but I prefer to just think of them as investment recommendations. So I just wanted to say that. Thanks very much, Glenda.
You're welcome. It is an investment in our future.
Councillor Nychuk?
Thanks, Mayor Snodgrass. Thanks, Glenda, for the presentation. Really appreciate it.
Thank you,
I don't know if this is more suited to Shelley or yourself, but just noticing the dollars that are gone to student food programs. So 180 school days in a year. The funding that's here, whether you take into account the 8,000 that's with the community connections or not. So let's just take the student ones at 24,000 and 180 days. That's $133 per school day for all the schools and the kids that we have. And I just wanted to make a point of that. That's not a lot of money to stretch among kids. And I just wondered if we had a handle on the number of kids that we're trying to look after, because it's critical. And it just scares me that there's only $133 to feed potentially how many kids, I don't know. So I don't know if you can give me an answer to that, but I just found that point there kind of really interesting and not interesting in a good way, but concerning. So thank you for all the good work that you do and that those funds are available for those kids. So.
Thank you. Shelley, I'll defer the question to you.
Certainly. Thank you, Glenda, and thank you, Councillor Nychuk. It's amazing how far these organizations can stretch these dollars. What we're really pleased with the No Student Goes Hungry program is that it's allowed to be used as matching dollars as well for the schools. So, and that's important. So when they apply to other food programs, so programs like there's different breakfast programs they can apply to, they can use that dollar amount that we give them in gift cards as matching dollars, which they often need to receive their grant. So that helps schools stretch those dollars even a little more. The numbers are a little hard for us to gather because we don't have it as a registered program. We don't want any student to have to identify as their income level or any reason like that. The fruit bowls, the food baskets, they're available to all kids. And so when you stretch it out over all kids in the schools, it really is amazing. So we can always do more. It is a little less for our No Student Goes Hungry program this year. Last year we dedicated $15,000 to that program. And keep in mind that it's not just the school days as well. It's those out of school, so the Christmas and summer holidays. But the committee is focused on continuing to look at programs and funding opportunities to ensure that these little kiddos, big and little kiddos, have food in their bellies. We can't learn without it, and especially during stressful times with mental health, we need food in our bellies to do this. So thank you for your interest in that.
Thanks, Shelley. Appreciate it, and nice to hear the exponential factor that's there with matching programs and whatnot. So thank you for sharing that. Appreciate it.
Councillor McMillan.
Thank you, Mayor Snodgrass, and thank you very much, Glenda and Shelley, for the presentation. And I really admire the difficulty of this decision because every cause is very worthy. And so, Glenda, you mentioned about this particular grouping about focusing on children's services. Is that kind of the theme of this year's?
No, this year was more basic, focusing on back to the basics for food security and mental health. But yes, primarily it is focused on children. When you come though to the food security with Wild Rose, it's not necessarily children. It could be adults that are accessing some food. Mm-hmm. So, that makes me happy that it's not just about children, but it will affect children. On Bread Day, the children line up with the adults. So it's an important factor. And if anyone hasn't had the opportunity to go and do sandwiches, and I don't know that she allows it during COVID, but during pre-COVID, I went and helped do lunches occasionally, and it is just an amazing process. It really opens your eye up actually how nutritional the meal is and how efficient they are to get those little bag lunches out the door.
Oh, it's a beautiful process.
It is. And if a child forgets their lunch that day and they have to go get a bag lunch, that just makes the program work better, because then the other children don't feel different because they see little Sally or Johnny over there. Oh, they've got a bag lunch too. So it really works out well.
It's a far cry from hot dog days back in the day.
I know, we did lots of those.
And maybe question is for Shelley, but do we have any stats about adult hunger in High River, like adult food needs? Because I know the food rescue does go all across ages, but I was just wondering if we had any stats.
Our program doesn't, thank you, Councillor Millen. But I do know that through Wild Rose, their Food Connections program, as well as through the Salvation Army Food Bank, I've said this before, but I consider High River to be a resource-rich community. We have amazing organizations, and for us to have both a food bank and a food rescue program is really fortunate. They would definitely have stats on that, and I'd be certainly willing to gather that information for you and bring it back to Chris so he can provide it to council.
Thank you very much, and thanks again, Glenda and Shelley.
Thank you, Councillor McMillan.
Councillor Moore.
Thank you, Mayor Snodgrass, and thank you, Glenda and Shelley and your team for all that you do. I kind of miss the good old days of helping out to raise some of the money through some of your programs, but it's certainly is beneficial to our community. Just a little answer to Michael's question, so that he doesn't get too overly concerned, is that most of these organizations have a number of sources of funding. That some of them come and go with the COVID situation. Some of their major fund sources have dried up for the time being, but they do get money from several different sources, and that helps the total program. And with your help, it sure is beneficial to all of those people worrying about where they're going to get money to continue their programs. So it's very good what you're doing, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Moore.
For questions. Thanks, Glenda. And I'll ask Councillor Kinghorn for a motion that council approve the allocation as recommended by the United Way High River Partnership Investment Subcommittee of the 2021 UWHR Partnership Community Grants, with funding come from the 2021 approved budget as follows: 8,000 to the Boys and Girls Club of the Foothills, 7,500 to Inclusion Foothills, 12,000 to High River Food for Thought, 8,000 to Wild Rose Community Connections, 12,000 to No Student Goes Hungry program. Councillor Kinghorn. You're on mute, but I'm
sorry. Thank you, Mayor Snodgrass. A little behind the ball for this afternoon. I most certainly will give you that motion. I'm pleased to do so. Thank you.
Thank you. Council, all in favor? Motion carries. Thanks very much, Glenda. Thanks, Shelley.
Thank you. Thank you for taking your time. Bye now.
Bye-bye. Laneway closure, Sarah.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The purpose of the bylaw that is before you today is to amend the legal description of the laneway to be closed. The laneway is being closed to accommodate the fire hall that is currently being constructed. The current fire hall is partially located on an unopened laneway that is owned by the province. The town is in the process of building an addition onto the fire hall, and that addition is also going to be partly over the unopened laneway allowance. And it is critical that the town own the laneway land. So that the town owns all of the land that the fire hall occupies, as well as ensuring that the current and the future fire hall buildings do not interfere with any utilities in the area, and all utility companies are fully aware of the buildings. First reading for the laneway closure was passed on March 9th, 2020. The public hearing was held on July 13th, 2020. At that hearing, no comments were received. As part of the laneway closure process, all adjacent landowners and utility companies were circulated by town administration. Administration did not receive any feedback from any of the neighboring property owners. We did receive feedback from TELUS Communications Inc. as well as Fortis Alberta Inc. They both require utility rights-of-way agreements, and the town does have copies signed by those utility companies of the agreements they want registered on the title. Second and third readings were passed by Town Council on October 13th, 2020. The Land Titles Office has informed administration, after administration sent in all of the appropriate documentation, that the land description that was originally provided by the Land Titles Office has now been deemed to be incorrect. As a result of that, the Land Titles Office has rejected the town's submission. In this particular circumstance, the town is not required to hold another public meeting due to section 692, subsection 6 of the Municipal Government Act. Municipalities are allowed to make amendments to bylaws due to technical errors. In that case, administration recommends that council give all three readings to bylaw 45, 95, 2021, being a bylaw for the purpose of amending the laneway, amending the closing to close the laneway adjacent to the fire hall. Specifically, the bylaw is to amend the legal description, and that legal description has now been verified by Land Titles. Are there any questions?
Councillor McMillan. Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you, Mayor Snodgrass. Thank you very much, Sarah. I just have a quick question, and I know it's just a technicality, but I'm just wondering, seeing as the clerical error was on the part of Land Titles, how come the town has to pay the $30 again? Like, I know it's a technicality, but that just seems illogical to me.
The town doesn't have to pay $30 again. So the town has not paid our $30. We sent it in. So we did, of course, forfeit all mailing stamp costs for that process. But when the town receives rejections, or any municipality receives rejections from the Land Titles Office, they don't actually charge us any money for those rejections.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
No further questions. So I'll ask for a motion from Councillor Nychuk. The council give first reading to bylaw 4595 2021, and that council give second reading to bylaw 4595 2021, and all council present give unanimous consent to proceed with third and final reading of bylaw 4595 2021.
Mayor Snodgrass, I'll give you that motion. Thank you.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Ask for a motion from Councillor Masterman that council give third and final reading to bylaw 4595 2021.
I'm happy to give that motion.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Well done. Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you. Goodbye.
MGB appeal, Kaylee.
Good afternoon, Mayor Snodgrass and council. I wasn't aware that I was the one speaking to this. Riley, were you?
No, you are now. It's all yours.
Go ahead, Riley.
I can. I spoke to it last time, so I can do it again, no problem. So good afternoon. So the town has received an appeal with regards to the offsite levy bylaw on March 11th. We do have to give a reply to the MGB by March 25th. So this is an urgent issue. I don't know, is there, sorry, I wasn't prepared for a presentation this afternoon. So is there any questions?
No, it's pretty, where am I at here? Pretty self-explanatory with what's written in the resolution itself. So no questions from council. So I will ask Councillor McMillan, that council, for a motion, the council direct administration to direct staff to amend the offsite levy bylaw as follows. Remove the recreation center expansion from the rates bylaw to update the rates for the fire hall expansion project in bylaw 4568/2020 to reflect the current estimated total project cost, factoring in actual committed costs to date, and to update bylaw 4568/2020 to provide greater clarity and to ensure it complies with the principles and criteria set out in legislation, and that administration consult by email on the proposed amendments to bylaw 4568/2020 with the development community, and that the bylaw be presented to council for all three readings in a public hearing at a future council meeting.
I'll give you that motion.
Thank you. No questions? All in favor? Motion is carried. Thanks, Riley. Thanks, Kaylee. FCM Asset Management Grant Application. Naaman?
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. I am bringing forward today a new funding opportunity from the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, or the FCM. The town previously applied for this grant in 2017 and received $42,000 for the purchase of an enterprise asset management software called Cartograph. Currently, we are in the process of implementing this software organization-wide, and we have hired a consultant, Applied Geologics, to help us with the implementation process. We already have the funds allocated towards the implementation project and consultant fees, but we can apply and receive funding for a second time since this is a different project. As per the requirements, second-time applicants should be committed to sharing their knowledge about best practices and results with peers in the municipal sector. Funding is available for 80% of the total eligible project cost to a maximum of $50,000. If successful, this grant will be used to cover up the consultant fees for the current implementation project, and previous funds can be used to support and speed up asset management work currently underway. One of the required steps to complete the application is a resolution by the council as a sign of support for the project. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thanks, Naaman. Any questions from council? Pretty easy grant application, pretty easy explanation. So ask for a motion from Councillor Cooey that the town of High River commits to conducting the following activities in its proposed project submitted to the FCM Municipal Asset Management Program to advance our asset management program. Complete asset management business process review, complete an asset registry, and implement the asset management software system, and that the town of High River commits $68,800 from its existing operational budget towards the cost of this initiative.
I will give you that motion, Mayor Snodgrass.
Thank you very much. Chris, that 68.8, that's already in our existing budget, right? That's not over and above anything that's there.
That's correct.
Thank you. No questions? All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you very much, Naaman.
Thank you.
Item 7.2, is that right? My page is right? Yes. 7.2, pedestrian improvements. Kaylee.
Good afternoon, Mayor Snodgrass and Council. With your permission, I would like to have Hyunji provide the presentation as she is the project manager on this and will be able to present the scope for you this afternoon. So with your permission, I will allow her to take the floor. Hyunji.
Thank you, Kaylee. Good afternoon, the Mayor and the Council. My name is Hyunji Kim. I'm the inspector from the Engineering Department. Thank you for the opportunity to discuss the 2021 miscellaneous pedestrian improvements. Today, I'll be discussing the scope of this project that Engineering Department is proposing. I trust you have all received Kaylee's report, but I will touch on the key points now. Currently, the Engineering Department has been granted a budget of $250,000 for concrete sidewalks and wheelchair ramps replacement and installing missing links. To determine which sites are included in this year's project, we reviewed ISL's 2017 Sidewalk Condition Assessment Report. For this year, we have picked a total of 4 sites. 2 of them are missing links and the other 2 are replacement of existing sidewalks and wheelchair ramps. So site 1 is a missing link along the west side of the 4th Street Southwest between 10th Ave and 12th Ave. This sidewalk will provide a pedestrian connection between the Happy Trail network along 12th Ave and the downtown core and major amenities nearby, such as hospital and library. New crosswalk painting will be also installed at 10th Ave and 12th Ave. Also, although it is not a major issue, I feel it should be noted that 3 street lights will need to be moved west due to conflict with the sidewalk. Site 2 is also a missing link along the west side of 9th Street Southwest between Emerson Road and 12th Ave Southwest. This sidewalk will provide a pedestrian connectivity to the playground on Emerson Road and also to the church as well as Happy Trail network along 12th Ave. The next 2 sites are replacement of existing concrete sidewalks and wheelchair ramps. They were selected based on ISL's condition report, with the most severely damaged sites being a higher priority. Site 3 is a replacement of existing sidewalk and wheelchair ramp along the south side of 2nd Ave between 3rd Street and 4th Street. And Site 4 is a replacement of the sidewalk along the west side of 4th Street between 3rd Ave and 4th Ave. Both of these sites had severe structural damage and deterioration of the concrete. This concludes my presentation. Thank you, and I'll be happy to answer any questions if you have.
Thanks, Hyunji. Councillor Cooey.
Thanks very much, and thanks, Hyunji, for the report. A question for you, because this is something that occurs on a yearly basis when we review this and the funds are committed. Is it always based on a consultant's report? Do they come out on a yearly basis, or is this done on a semi-annual basis and we just continue to work through the report? And are there also considerations for concerns that come forward from the public?
Thank you for the question, Councillor Cui. So we use ISL civil report as a base because they provide, since 2017, they provide 5-year plan. So we are following the plan, but we also get complaints from residents as well. So what we do is we check the condition of the sidewalk according to ISL report first, and then we perform a site visit to see if existing condition has got worse since 2017. And I would compare if the sidewalk has worse condition than the sites that are currently already in the scope of the work. And if the site condition is poor, but if it cannot be included in this year's project scope, I may ask operations to provide temporary repairs such as grinding.
Awesome, thank you. I wasn't sure how long that report was valid for, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
No further questions. Thanks, Yonji. Thanks, Kaylee.
Thank you.
You're getting
Thank
off easy today, Kaylee.
Only today.
Town's investment report, Leanna.
Well, good afternoon, Mayor and Council. I'm here today to discuss the actual of what happened in our 2020 investment report. The town invested a sum of $50 million with CIBC Wood Gundy in August 2017 from surplus cash available as part of our efficient cash flow management strategy, fiscal discipline, and transparency. The surplus cash was a result of cash flow timelines for various ongoing capital projects, the town capital reserves, and other long-term payables. The overall value of this portfolio at the end of December was $56,177,689.89. This actually showed a growth of $3,762,528.56, which is actually a 7.2% increase on our investments. I wish we all could earn that type of investment increase in our portfolios. The increase in the portfolio was due to realized gains on some of the investments sold and accumulated interest reinvested into the town's portfolio. Administration had committed to giving quarterly updates with council on the status of the investments in compliance with the town's investment policy. So Finance Policy 104. In accordance to this policy, the town shall invest its funds in a prudent manner, provide optimum investment returns within the prescribed limits of the Municipal Government Act, while ensuring the safety of capital meeting the town's cash flow requirements and conforming to the Municipal Government Act. Does anybody have any questions?
No questions. Thanks, Leanna. We'll go straight forward into the capital carry forward.
So any questions? No, just kidding. This is a 15-page report compared to the last one of 3. So today I'm here to discuss the changes in the 2021 capital budget as they're related to the carryovers for the 2020 capital projects. After we completed our 2020 capital projects, we have a significant change in our carry forwards. So in December, Council adopted the 2021 capital budget in the amount of $28,701,161. In this budget, there was town-funded projects that had a carry forward amount of $9,360,868 and new capital of $7,178,500 for a total of town-funded projects of $16,539,368. Within the capital budget that was adopted in December, there was also a renewal funded projects of $12,161,793, which were all carry forward projects from other levels of government. Now that the 2020 is now complete, we thought we'd come back to council and update you of where we actually ended up at the end of 2020. I have my piece of paper in front of me. Just give me a moment, please. So now within the town-funded projects, we have carryovers of $10,792,140. We still have the $7,178,500 of new capital for a total of town-funded capital projects of being $17,970,640. Where our major change is within our renewal funded projects, where we went from previously of $12,161,793 to $20,661,625. which then gives us a total carryover capital budget of 31,453,765. No change in the new capital of 7,178,500 for a grand total of 2021 capital projects of 38,632,265. So which this means is we're asking for a budget amendment of 9,931,104. So this is all due to our capital carry forwards. We had anticipated being farther along in a lot of our renewal projects, where we are still working with different levels of government on ensuring that our grant extensions are still happening, and working with the rest of administration to ensure that our human capacity is able to complete these projects. With a lot of our renewal projects, and hopefully Riley can attest to this, is we are looking at probably spacing these over the next 2 years. Does anybody have any questions?
Thanks, Leanna. Councillor McMillan.
Mayor Snodgrass, and thank you very much, Leanna. I'm just kind of wondering for reference, like, I'm not sure if I have the correct, I didn't see a lot of the numbers that you mentioned on my sheet, so I'm not sure if I'm looking at the wrong spot.
I don't know what page number on the entire agenda, but on this report under 7.4, it was on page 3 of 15.
Okay, so the one where it's saying the 2020 carryover is 31,453,000. Okay.
Yes.
And then I guess
I can go into the details of what changed.
Would you mind, Leanna? Because I'm just a little bit confused.
Okay. So in our town funded projects, we have a total change of $1,831,272. So we actually see a reduction in our asset management implementation of the software of $12,920. We see a decrease of $123,900. We see an increase in our operations building and yard upgrades of $8,000. Our missing links are formerly miscellaneous pedestrian improvements of $30,000. We see an increase in our Center Street shallow utilities of $1,035,000.
Okay.
We see an increase of $6,000 in our Highwood River Center Street Bridge project. We see an increase in the 7th Street Northwest top lift station, which is the golf course to High Country Drive at $33,600. Then we see a decrease in our back lane repaving downtown between 3rd and 4th Avenue of $13,800. We see a decrease in the street replacement program of $138,008. We then see an increase of $797,400 on our golf course lift station and 7th Street trunk upgrades.
Right.
Then we have our Bob Snodgrass Recreation Complex roof replacement phase 2 of an increase of $63,000.
Okay, so now I'm grasping it. And I guess my other question is regarding the, when we look at the total capital carryover funds with the $400,000 wayfinding, have we heard anything about that grant extension?
We are still working on that. I spoke with Sean Fitzpatrick from the government of Alberta this morning, and he says that they're working on the grant extension on this. We do realize that we're probably not going to meet the construction for completion in 2021, but we did request that grant to be extended to the end of 2022.
Okay. Thank you very much for clarifying things for me, Leanna.
Not a problem. Any other questions?
No other questions? Ask for a motion from Councillor Moore that council approve the amended 2021 capital budget in the amount of $38,632,265.
I will make that motion, Mayor Snodgrass.
Thank you. All in favor? Motion is carried. That's about it. 8.1, coal policy. Anything you got, Bruce?
No, not really. I think we're all just kind of waiting to hear the details on the consultation process, and which hopefully we'll be hearing fairly soon, considering it's supposed to start on the 29th, so a week from today. So I really don't have anything new though.
And all I know is that they are currently still choosing committee panel members that will then put together the public consultation piece. So we got a lot of work to do in 7 days. So good luck. Council correspondence is in the meeting. Any other questions from council? None. Meeting adjourned, 3:46 p.m. Thank you very much.